So let me just finish with some thoughts on learning and the workforce, because I think that's going to be one of the big shifts, is as we automate more and more of what humans do, we're going to have to begin to teach and emphasize, both in institutions and in the corporation, things that computers can't do, things like empathetic communication. AI is going to be really good at communicating in many ways, but not empathetically. Critical thinking, really looking at an open-ended problem. Collaboration. Again, these are human skills that I think will have to be developed. And interestingly enough, I'm not positive that we're currently developing those. In fact, in many ways, I think that the rise of the screen culture is sort of going against developing exactly those traits. In other words, the computers are tending to teach us to act more like computers. And I thought of this recently. I have a Fortune 1000 company I work with. The HR people told me recently that they had started a new class called Remedial Social Skills. And I said, whoa, what is that? They said, well, they were having this experience that it's a slightly technical company, so they got people with 4-year degrees, good transcripts, the kind of skills they want, but they never seem to have been out of their dorm rooms. And it turns out that's kind of true, because especially in big state schools, where there's a little overcrowding, we've wired it so you can basically do everything from your room, from go to the library to take the tests. So I said, okay, what are remedial social skills? And she said, well, first of all, it's, when to text, when to IM, when to send an email, when to make a phone call, when to show up in person. Okay, I can see that. That's kind of business manners. I mean, someone had to teach baby boomers not to type in all caps. But then she said, the biggest one we're working on is how to start a conversation and how to know a conversation is over. And I said, now you're freaking me out. But since then, I've talked to some psychologists about this who say that actually this is, some kids are just natural conversational beings, natural social beings. But psychologists say they are seeing this diminution in social skills around that kind of spontaneity. And the theory is that this is the first generation that has had texting and IMing since before adolescence. And that, in fact, texting and IMing is asynchronous. It's a kind of communication that lets you think for a second. Even if all you're going to do is text back LOL, at least you've thought about it. It's much less confrontational than face-to-face conversation. So if you're an awkward adolescent, and those words often go together, you probably will avoid face-to-face communication if you have this option of the asynchronous communication. So the fault is, the fault's not really the technology. The technology has just made this possible. The fault is that, we didn't realize that we actually may have to start teaching conversation, having things in school that force kids to really begin to learn to converse for ones who apparently don't have this. So I think what we're going to see going into the future is, as artificial intelligence and telepresence begins to sort of disembody the company, what is more and more important are what are the skills that are truly unique, powerful human skills.